Complete Ballad of Halo Jones. Despite being a 2000 AD fan for about 35 years, Halo Jones was a strip that I'd missed out on at the time and only managed to track down a copy of the Complete Ballad of Halo Jones a few years ago. Having loved the likes of writer Alan Moore's V for Vendetta and Watchmen, which were published around the same time as Halo Jones in the mid-80s, and having heard a lot of hype about how good Halo Jones was, I was really excited to sit down and see what all the fuss was about. I think I'll be honest and say that my expectations were probably too high, and sadly, Ian Gibson's beautiful artwork aside, I felt a little underwhelmed. I could see how groundbreaking it was to centre the story around a woman who didn't fit into the usual comic book tropes of damsel in distress or uber warrior, just a normal, every woman living in a bizarre future world. But I found the jargon and future speak in the strip was a barrier to me enjoying and actually fully understanding the story. Thank heavens then for this audiobook adaptation. The voice actors have done a tremendous job in making that tricky dialogue sound natural, and at the same time have managed to bring life to the characters I was having so much of a struggle with just from the page, and making them seem believable and relatable in the process. There are 3 different storylines, or books as they were described at the time, the first of which introduces us to Halo as a young woman who's stuck in the Hoop, a circular city which is a place where society's poorest have been dumped and left to fend for themselves. They have little to do other than go on shopping expeditions for food, something which is so dangerous that they dread it. It's a fun satire on Thatcher's Britain of the 80s, where on the one hand there was mass unemployment and poverty, and yet on the other, rampant consumerism was really beginning to take hold. I love quirky little details in the story that mention how the poor were encouraged to keep out of affluent areas, as the rich seem able to kill them with impunity, and also that the police have been partially lobotomised to allow them to deal with people with dispassion. I was also interested in the drummers, characters who are so into their music that they are practically zombies. I read this as a critique of youth culture, that instead of going out and protesting against the situation, many young people are apathetic and become obsessed with things like music to distract them, and in the end accept the situation of the unjust society that they live in. The drummer music they listen to could quite easily be replaced with smartphones these days, which seem to have a real hold over us all. Perhaps these things just go in circles, but all of this feels just as relevant in the present as it would have been in the 1980s. I'm not going to say anything about the storylines of book 2 and 3 so you can discover them for yourself, but what's really great about them is that each book sees a real change in the focus and themes. Indeed, it becomes more epic in sweep and feel. It's also amusing and sad in equal measures, something which few comic strips have successfully managed to achieve. Certainly for 2000 AD, it really stands out as being different not only by having that every woman central character, but by being far more character driven and less concerned about the ultra-violence that was 2000 AD's trademark. Sound effects are very good, and I particularly enjoyed the music, which created an atmosphere of impending doom, wholly suitable for the setting and story. I did read the book at the same time as I listened to the audiobooks, and would recommend to people that they do the same, not only because of Ian Gibson's artwork, which is gorgeous to look at, but because I do feel that the universe of Halo Jones is so strange and bizarre that you do need those images to fully make sense of a story. On the flip side, it seems that I really needed this audiobook adaptation to properly appreciate the strip, so I'm very grateful that the people at Rebellion 2000 AD and Penguin UK adapted this. I'm sure that I'm not the only person who will feel that this audiobook will enliven and enrich their enjoyment of Halo Jones.